There's a moment after a breakup where it feels like the air gets punched out of your chest, and you realize the pain isn't just about losing her. It's about losing the man you thought you were with her. No one sees that moment coming. One day, you're laughing with her, thinking the world finally gave you something solid. And the next, you're staring at a silent phone that feels like a doorway to a life already slipping through your fingers. The memories hit you fast. Her voice, her warmth, the softness in her eyes. And somehow the things that once held you together now cut straight through you. A breakup doesn't just end a relationship. It tears open the parts of you you've been avoiding. It strips away the identity you built around being chosen, being wanted, being enough. But here's the truth most men never hear. The pain wrecking you right now isn't weakness. It's the sound of your old self cracking so a stronger one can step forward. Heartbreak feels like chaos, but inside that chaos is the blueprint of a man you were always meant to become. Most men run from this moment. You didn't. You're here, sitting with the ache, facing the truth you tried to outrun. And once you understand what this pain is really doing to you, that's the moment you stop breaking and start rebuilding. 1. Denial, the first cut. And this is where the mind starts playing its tricks on you. After the breakup, you don't accept the truth right away. You hold on to the old story the way a drowning man grips anything that floats. You replay conversations, reread messages, look for clues you might have missed, convincing yourself the ending doesn't make sense. Deep down, you keep whispering that she'll reach out, that she'll remember what you two had, that maybe this was all just a moment she'll snap out of. But that hope isn't strength. It's the last wall standing between you and the truth your body already knows. Denial is the quiet zone, where a man tries to bargain with reality, even while the pieces of the relationship were already falling apart long before the final goodbye. You saw the signs, you just weren't ready to face them. The fading warmth, the shorter answers, the way her presence felt distant even when she was sitting right in front of you. Those weren't random shifts. They were the slow unraveling of something you kept trying to hold together with your bare hands. And somewhere in that fight, you started losing pieces of yourself. You ignored your needs. You softened your boundaries. You swallowed your doubts just to protect the version of her you believed in. So when the breakup finally came, it wasn't just her walking away. It was the death of the man you were while trying to keep her. And that's the part most men never talk about. You're not only grieving the woman, you're grieving the version of yourself that kept hoping love alone could save a story that was already slipping. But here's the quiet truth, brother. That man can't walk with you from here. He was built for a fantasy, not for what's real. Let him go with clarity, not resentment. Because underneath all that wreckage, a sharper, steadier version of you is waiting to take his place. This shattering isn't your ending. It's the first opening into the man you were meant to become. 2. Withdrawal, sitting with the empty space. Withdrawal is where the real storm hits, even if no one else can see it. Right after she's gone, your instincts pull you toward anything that helps you outrun the impact. You reach for noise, for attention, for something, anything that keeps you from feeling the drop. Maybe it's new conversations. Maybe it's someone's touch. Maybe it's endless scrolling just to quiet the shaking inside your chest. You tell yourself you're moving on, but we both know what's really happening. You're trying to outrun the silence. The part no one explains is that heartbreak doesn't just hurt emotionally. It hits you like a chemical crash. Your brain got used to the rhythm she brought into your life, the good morning messages, the late night calls, the shared routines that fed your nervous system without you even realizing it. She wasn't just a person. She became a pattern. And when that pattern vanished, your whole body felt the withdrawal, that hollow pressure in your chest, the urge to reach back out, the restless need to distract yourself. Those aren't signs of love. They're signs of dependency losing its grip. This is where a lot of men break. They jump into someone else's arms, hoping the new warmth will drown out the cold left behind. They chase validation, hoping it will patch the hole in their chest. But running doesn't heal anything. It just keeps the wound open. And sooner or later, the truth catches up. But when you stop running, when you sit alone with nothing but your breath and the ache you've been avoiding, something sharp but necessary begins to happen. the illusions start to fall away. The cravings lose their strength. The emotional hooks that kept you tied to her begin to loosen. You start meeting yourself without her shadow, standing between you and your own reflection. And the man who can face that kind of silence without reaching for a substitute becomes a different breed. Grounded, steady, untouchable in a way that doesn't need to be loud. Withdrawal isn't punishment, it's purification. This is the fire that burns away everything weak and leaves only what can stand on its own. Let it hurt, brother. Let it empty you out, because what remains after the burn is the part of you no one can ever take away again. If this hits something real in you, brother, stay close. Subscribe and keep walking with me through the rest of this path. You don't have to figure all this out alone. We'll take it one step at a time, and I'll be right here for the next part of the climb. 3. Revelation. When the fantasy finally breaks, revelation is the part most men try to dodge, because this is where the truth stops whispering and starts speaking straight to your face. And it's not the truth about her, it's the truth about you. This is the stage where you finally see that you weren't grieving the real woman or the real relationship. You were grieving the version of her you built in your mind, the future you scripted long before reality had a say in it. You held on to the fantasy because the fantasy felt safer than the evidence right in front of you. And the evidence was there, man. It always is. The slower replies, the tone that shifted without explanation, the way her eyes stopped lighting up when you walked into the room. You noticed these things. Maybe not consciously, maybe not all at once, but your body picked up on every quiet withdrawal. You just chose hope over clarity, because losing the illusion felt heavier than losing yourself piece by piece. Revelation forces you into a different mirror, the one where you have to ask the questions you've been avoiding. Where did you shrink so she could shine? Where did you silence your own instincts just to keep the peace? Where did you treat her validation like it was oxygen? None of this is about blaming her. It's about finally being honest about the ways you betrayed yourself long before she ever walked away. And yeah, it stings. It's supposed to. But that sting is how you grow. Every truth you face becomes another piece of armor you didn't have before. You start seeing patterns instead of excuses, reality instead of potential. You start moving like a man who doesn't fall for the same story twice. Revelation isn't punishment, brother. It's freedom. It's the moment the fog lifts, and you finally see the relationship for what it was, not what you needed it to be. And once you see clearly, you don't go blind again. 4. Rediscovery. Returning to the man you walked away from. Rediscovery starts the moment you realize something most men never want to admit. She didn't take your strength when she left. She simply revealed the places where you never fully owned it. Her absence didn't break you. It exposed the cracks you kept patching with her attention, her approval, her presence. And when that presence disappeared, you finally saw how much of your identity was leaning on her instead of standing on its own. A lot of men think rebuilding means turning cold or shutting down their emotions, like becoming harder somehow makes them stronger. But real masculine strength isn't a performance, it's alignment. It's the quiet confidence of a man who knows who he is without anyone's permission. Women feel that kind of presence instantly. They're drawn to it not because it's loud, but because it doesn't bend, it doesn't chase, it doesn't crumble under pressure. So this stage is about coming back to the parts of yourself you abandoned while you were busy trying to hold the relationship together. You start sharpening your discipline, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because it steadies you. You reconnect with your body, your mission, your silence. You learn to move slowly, speak deliberately, and carry an energy that doesn't need to announce itself. You become both calm and dangerous in the same breath. Not as an act, but as a byproduct of finally standing in your own frame. And here's the part that stings a little. You're not rebuilding for her. You're not polishing yourself up so she'll regret leaving. You're rebuilding for the man you should have been long before she ever walked into your life. The man who doesn't negotiate his worth just to keep someone close. The man who doesn't collapse when affection fades. The man who leads himself first. Rediscovery isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to the center you abandoned along the way, stripping off the insecurity, the fear, the self-doubt, until all that's left is a man who finally knows how to stand, with or without anyone beside him. 5. Detachment. Taking back the territory inside your mind. Detachment is where the fight turns inward. Most men think no contact is about cutting her off on the outside, deleting photos, blocking her number, staying away from her pages. But that's just the surface. The real war isn't on your phone. It's in the space behind your eyes, in the thoughts that keep looping when the world gets quiet. Because even after she's gone, you can still hand her the keys to your mind without realizing it. Every time you check her profile, or reread a conversation, or picture what she might be doing without you, you're not just looking. You're feeding the bond that should have died the moment she walked away. And here's the part that hits harder once you understand it. Women can feel when a man's energy is still tied to them, even from a distance. It shows in your hesitation, your tone, the way you carry yourself. They can sense when you're still orbiting the old story, still hoping, still waiting, still imagining some version of reconciliation in your head. And nothing drains a man's power faster than that. Not because women are cruel, but because clinging exposes a kind of emptiness you haven't filled on your own yet. A man who can't detach becomes predictable, reactive, easy to read, and that kills attraction long before he realizes it's happening. This is why detachment isn't about getting her back. It isn't a strategy. It's not about proving anything. It's about reclaiming your inner world so no one, past or future, can occupy space they haven't earned. You detach by pulling your focus back to your mission, your growth, your discipline. You detach by refusing to feed the fantasies that kept you stuck. You detach by becoming a man whose emotional gravity doesn't depend on who stays or leaves. And something shifts once you truly let go. Your mind gets quieter, your presence grows heavier, your identity stops shaking in her absence. When you stop giving her mental rent, you finally get yourself back. Detachment isn't the end of love. It's the rebirth of your self-control. And once a man learns that, he never lets anyone live inside his head for free again. 6. Ascension. Rising quietly into your own power. Ascension doesn't arrive with some big awakening. It doesn't come with a speech, a moment of revenge, or anything loud enough for the world to notice. It shows up quietly, almost unnoticed, somewhere in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. After the heartbreak, after the withdrawal, after all the hard truths stripped you down, something inside you begins to settle. Not dramatically, just surely. You start rising without trying to. It happens the moment you stop needing anyone to validate your worth. The moment the noise fades and your discipline starts carrying you instead of your emotions. You wake up one day and your presence feels different. Calmer, heavier, more intentional. You stop chasing. You stop explaining. You stop bending yourself into someone else's idea of enough. You start moving like a man who finally knows he belongs to himself. And women feel this shift before you ever open your mouth. They sense it in the stillness you carry, the silence that has weight now instead of insecurity. It's not arrogance. It's not indifference. It's just the energy of a man who isn't searching for anything outside of himself anymore. Mystery replaces neediness. Purpose replaces longing. Confidence replaces the old fear of being alone. But here's the part most men misunderstand. This transformation isn't built to win her back. It's built because losing her forced you to confront all the pieces of yourself you ignored for too long. Ascension separates men. Some stay wounded, some stay angry. But the ones who rise, they become both respectable and desirable in the same breath. They move with a kind of depth you can't fake and a direction no one else controls. You become the man she might notice again one day, but she won't get access to him. Not because you're bitter, but because you've outgrown the version of yourself who needed her in the first place. Ascension isn't rising above her. It's rising into the man she was never built to meet. 7. Reframing love. Choosing with clarity instead of fear. Reframing love isn't about shutting yourself down or becoming numb. It's about opening your heart again, but this time from a place that isn't ruled by fear. Before all of this, you loved in a way most men do. with the quiet panic of not wanting to lose her, with the old wounds you never addressed, with the belief that being chosen meant you were finally enough. But once you've gone through the fire, something changes. You start seeing the patterns behind your desire, the illusions you chased, the wounds that shaped your decisions long before she ever came along. When you step back into dating, you move differently. You don't overlook the subtle shifts you used to excuse, the delayed replies, the mixed signals, the emotional distance she hopes you'll ignore. You start reading energy instead of words, paying attention to consistency instead of chemistry. You can tell when a woman is truly present versus when she's keeping you around as a placeholder. And because you're no longer driven by scarcity, your reactions shift too. You don't cling. You don't beg for clarity. You don't force connection just to avoid loneliness. You begin choosing with intention, slowly, steadily. You stop romanticizing chaos and calling it passion. You stop bending yourself to fit someone else's ideal. You stop settling for attention when what you want is connection. And the emptiness you once tried to fill with someone else's presence, you filled that yourself along the way. So when you choose a woman now, it's not because you need her to complete anything inside you. It's because her presence fits the life you're already building. You walk into love with your eyes open. You bring your whole self instead of losing it. And for the first time, you choose a relationship not as a man trying to be enough, but as a man who already is. Reframing love means this, brother. You finally choose the right woman because you finally learned how to choose yourself. 8. Becoming the fire. The man who walks out different. You only understand the truth after you've walked through all of it. The denial, the withdrawal, the revelation, the rebuilding. Breakups don't destroy a man the way he fears they will. They expose him. They burn away every layer he performed to feel wanted, every illusion he used to feel safe, every soft place he handed over just to be chosen. Heartbreak is a furnace, and it melts everything that was built on fear or fantasy. But somehow, in the middle of that heat, something stronger starts to take shape. You didn't escape the fire, you endured it. You didn't collapse under the weight of your loss. You carried it long enough for it to carve out a different kind of backbone in you. The man standing here now isn't the boy who entered the relationship. That boy needed reassurance. He needed attention. He needed someone to tell him he mattered. But the man who walks out of heartbreak learns how to stand without any of that. He becomes sharper where it counts, calmer where it matters, warmer where it's real. You talk less now, but your presence says more. You don't rush into anyone's life. You don't negotiate for a place. You move with the quiet certainty of someone who's already rebuilt himself from ash. And that makes you dangerous in the right kind of way. Not reckless, not bitter, just untouchable to anything that once controlled you. People feel the shift even if they can't explain it. Women sense the weight in your silence. Men notice the steadiness in how you carry yourself. They're not seeing the man she left. That version died in the flames. What they see now is the man she never could have handled. A man with depth, direction, boundaries, self-respect. A man who doesn't chase what breaks him. A man who doesn't fear the void because he's already survived it. You didn't just make it through the fire, brother. You became it. When something in these words hits home, brother, stay in this circle. Subscribe so the next part of the journey finds you when you need it. Drop a comment and tell your story. Another man out there might recognize himself in your voice, and share this with a friend who's carrying his own quiet weight. Sometimes the right message at the right moment reminds a man he's not walking through the fire alone.